Nice shot of the Roseland here. We are inside for submission underground 1. And there is a highly decorated grappler, a highly decorated mixed martial artist, the former Elite XC and Strikeforce champion, Jake Shields, takes the submission underground cage. I've got goosebumps, Nate. This is really, really great.
Yeah, if you're a fan of fighting, you love Jake Shields, but if you're a fan of jiu-jitsu, of grappling, this is a dream come true. This is, I say this quite a bit because the whole card is filled with them. One of the world's best, and it's truly an honor to be here to see this guy.
Chris Lights Out Lytle, a legend in mixed martial arts. He has boxing credentials as well, and he's no stranger to submission grappling. Chael Sonnen said when he called Lytle and offered him this match, he took it within 30 seconds.
And Lytle wanted me to make sure, he says he keeps hoping somebody will finally say, good God, what happened to Lytle, man? He's let himself go. I know I will get eviscerated if I say that, so I'll just make it well known that Chris wanted me to say that about him. But dude, the first time I met Lytle, I was like, oh my God. I was like a little kid. I'm such a big fan.
Let's go up to Kevin Keeney for our official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout keeps us in the middleweight division. First, fighting out of the blue corner, he's a black belt who stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at an even 187 pounds. Trained by Cesar Gracie, he comes to us tonight from San Francisco, California. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome please, grappling and MMA legend, Jake Shields. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he's a wrestler who stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He also weighed in at an even 187 pounds. Trained by IBG, he comes to us tonight from Indianapolis, Indiana. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome please, the UFC legend, Chris Lights Out Lytle.
There was a promo going around before this event where Chael Sonnen said he was looking to make grappling great again. How great is this?
This is great. This is incredible.
We already talked about the rules and main event here. Our main concept here is
Lytle versus Shields.
Touch them up, go on back, come out and grapple.
Such an interesting matchup. On paper, Shields obviously has so much more credentials in grappling. I was talking to Chris Lytle beforehand. Asked him what belt he was. Belt holds up pants.
Jake, ready?
That's all you
Chris,
got. He wanted to be that guy. He beats you, and then he says, I don't have any credentials. I just happen to wrestle. I just happen to fight.
If this was an MMA match, Lytle would be avoiding the ground like crazy. He'd want to implement his striking game against Jake Shields, but that not an option here tonight. And
I'm good either way. I'm good. If they start throwing blows, I'm on a chair.
Something of interest in this matchup, Jake Shields in his career grappling in MMA has submitted.
Now you look at Chris Lytle, he's never been finished in mixed martial arts other than by TKO due to cut. He's never been submitted in MMA competition, so he definitely is aware of anything that can be thrown at him, and right now Jake Shields trying to throw a guillotine up.
And
Headlock
Chris is
position.
using the cage. What's interesting, he's not shy from coming forward. He could try and just use the time, run the clock out for the first 8 minutes. No, he was aggressive, used the cage. Although Jake's now got him in a really tough position. On top of him, Lytle's
Looked
out.
like Jake was going to try to go to the floor, maybe get a position there with that head, and he just popped off.
Chris is doing a really good thing here. He's just leaning his weight into the cage. Jake has got to pull him away. Well, he's got good position. The cage is your friend here. You're able to use it, lean into it. If you're out in the open mat, you're not able to do that.
Now this looks like an MMA fight right now. Jake Shields pushing his opponent up against the fence. Definitely seen that plenty of times.
And back to a over-under. I'd say Lytle's in danger of giving up his back here. And Jake keeps circling and circling out. Chris has got the whizzer left side again. Jake's so good at using those feet, trying to keep him off balanced. And he's got head position. This is the last place you want to have your opponent driving the top of their head into your jaw. And Jake trying to drag him down, doesn't quite get it.
Chris Lytle doesn't go anywhere. He's got an arm and guillotine, but wisely passing
Jake
is Jake Shields.
to get the takedown.
And that's what you're going to get with a veteran.
Yeah, you could see Jake saw that, fed it to him, and then was able to pull him out. That's a beautiful takedown against the fence as well. If you can get somebody, never go for a guillotine up against the fence. Your hips are just not in the right position. I'd like to see Lytle here just stand back up. Here we go. No. Oh, he almost had the sweep, but the cage was in the way. And Jake, again, he's no stranger to the cage. He's going to use it to help stay on top.
Lytle now with butterfly guard. TJ DeSantis, Nate Quarry inside the Roseland Theater. Get at us on Twitter. Use the hashtag SUG. It's at TJ DeSantis, at Nate Rock Quarry, and at Flow Combat.
Jake's transition into a top position, cross sides. Chris has got his knee up, watching out for the mount. I think if Jake was to try for a mount, he'd be driving that knee, just slowly dragging it over the top. But as of yet, he's not even thinking about it. Oh, no.
Shields, a black belt under Cesar Gracie, a wrestler in high school and college. I can imagine that Chris Lytle feels every pound of Jake Shields right now. Very heavy on top is Jake.
That's what I hear about rolling with Jake Shields. He's very heavy, but also knows the transitions very well. That's a big part of it. Using the weight, using the transitions, wearing out your opponent.
Lytle thinking about Shields trying to take mount, brings up his left leg to prevent that.
Jake's got that gable grip, really trapping him up. He releases it. I think Jake's really just comfortable staying on top and kind of grinding him out a little bit. Makes the submission so much easier when opponent's a little bit more tired, especially when you're in a top position. No need to rush it. Chris's credit, though, flopping for that armbar. Back to guard.
Lytle, a finalist of Season 4 of The Ultimate Fighter, fought Matt Serra for a title fight, and Serra got the win that night. Somewhat controversial. He went on to actually defeat George St. Pierre. Jake
Don't
Shields,
get me started on that one, man.
Jake Shields, he went 25 with GSP, and GSP paid him a.
Gets that, yep.
There he does.
Brings that leg across. Now he's going to settle his.
Oh, goes back to mount. I wonder if he felt maybe the position was slipping.
He's getting points. No, I'm kidding. No,
the comedian, Nate Rock Quarry. Coming up on 2.5 remaining here in regulation. Talked about Lytle never submitting in MMA competition. This isn't MMA. Jake Shields in a very dominant position right now.
Moving into the back. He's got the figure 4. That's just brutal.
Lytle would be wise to try to hold on here as long as he can.
Just another 2.5 minutes for him.
Back to mount is Shields, and again in that arm triangle position.
This is what Shields really known for, those transitions.
Maybe armbar
now the
upcoming.
Mounted triangle into the
belly down,
armbar.
tap. It is done. No, it is not done.
Oh,
I
so
thought
close,
he tapped.
so close.
He fought for it. Chris Lytle will not go away easily. Wow.
Shields has really picked up the pace here.
I thought he tapped. He peeled the leg away.
Close.
I jumped the gun there largely because if you give Jake Shields an arm, 9 out of 10 times it's over.
Yeah.
Shields now.
Lytle's a veteran. He's sneaky. I was sitting right in front of us. I feel like I'm not worried to say anything. Lytle's giving me the looks. I love both you guys.
Under 90 here in regulation. Shields diving for a leg. Lytle rolling through.
rolling through.
He's gonna roll from one side of the cage to the other.
But he's leaving that leg there. He's got to pull that leg out. Now he's got to roll
Shields
the other way.
Switching it up, going for the other leg. Now maybe trying to switch.
Shields really a master, just switching from sub to sub.
Chris Lytle trying to get a leg lock of his own. Now rolling again,
Lytle's
less
rolling
than a minute.
through.
Trying to pull free now.
He needs to push off, kick off.
Shields tenacious with this. Now looks like Lytle is out of danger for the time being. 40 seconds remaining here in regulation. How good is this, Nate? Wow.
And my heart is in my throat. Oh, jeez.
Chris Lytle and Jake Shields putting on a show inside the Roseland Theater.
Wow. It's your money's worth right there.
Lytle closes up the guard here.
All right, so it looks like we're going to go into our overtime unless Shields just pulls something off here in the last 15 seconds.
What will be amazing here is Lytle has largely been defensive. In overtime, he will have a shot at either in spiderweb or taking the back, and it'll be interesting to see what Lytle does on offense. We are headed to overtime here.
Lytle making sure the referee didn't think he tapped. Hagen's been a little bit quick on the gun here tonight.
He's not the only one.
I was excited. A few
All
times
right.
I was ready to tap.
I did tap. All right, looks like Jake Shields
Jeez,
is
Chris
going to go
Lytle's
on.
really let himself go. I had to say, he told me to. He looks incredible.
Jake Shields will go on offense first. He takes the back of Chris Lytle.
Face that way. Thank you.
A spectator sport. Got to get in
Two
frame.
hands up.
Yep.
Are you guys ready? Start.
Oh, Shields looking straight for the body lock. That is brutal.
Lytle audibly groaning. Said, damn it, man.
Boy,
And it is just great to see Chris Lytle back in action. It's been a while since we've seen him in the UFC, and to see him compete here tonight with Jake Shields, really special.
yeah, this is a fan favorite right here. I'd tune in just for this.
Lytle's UFC debut came against now reigning welterweight champion Robbie Lawler. That happened way back in the early UFC, the early 40s of the UFC. Now looking at the body triangle here,
The corner of Shields yelling to focus on choking him. Now that is some good advice. That's right up there with punch him in the face that I heard many times in my MMA career.
now Shields, he could transition to that arm triangle if he wanted to.
Yeah, head and arm choke is there, but
The riding time racking up for Jake Shields. You know, looking at Shields, I mean, he's such a pro here, a high-level black belt. He doesn't really even need a corner in a match like this.
true, and especially they know when to explode, they know when to rest, they know when to cook their opponent, and that's what you're seeing with Shields.
And now he loses the position. A lot of riding time, though, for the former Strikeforce champ.
Lytle says, I guess I'll take his back.
It's so quiet in here, you can just have a conversation with anybody. And
Chris is talking to the people in cheap seats. He's talking to the corner, both corners.
talk to us on Twitter. Use that hashtag SUG. Shields immediately gets out of that position.
Immediately
Wow.
escapes that.
That was less than 10 seconds. That may have been less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think so. Lytle's upset he gave it up that quickly.
Now Shields will go top of the second overtime. And he will take the back, and Lytle's like, man, I really got to do this again? Immediately Shields goes back to that body triangle.
Oh,
Lytle knew it was
that
coming.
just sucks. Yeah, I feel for you, Chris.
Now looking at Shields' foot, that's right on the cup there, Lytle. That's got to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Switches it up a little bit higher. And again, the body triangle locked up for Jake Shields. Lytle, a fireman. He did that throughout his entire MMA career.
Chris is just a gamer. He's shown it throughout his career. His toughness is undeniable. And to see, he may joke around in between rounds, but he's not here to give up. Fight till he's got anything. A body triangle again.
I remember doing interviews with Lytle back when he was fighting, and he would do these interviews and also hit pads, at the same time while he was on duty at the firehouse, getting his work in while he was doing one of those 12-hour shifts, 24-hour shifts at times.
I know he made a run in politics. Bummed me out he didn't win. But yeah.
I'd vote for him for anything.
Hell yeah. At the very least, you know he's got a work ethic. He's been in the trenches.
That body triangle still in play there for Jake Shields.
This is really tough because when you're in a body triangle, you want to wait until the guy gives it up. But
there's a nice adjustment there by Lytle.
In these rules, you have to force him to give it up.
So now we're at the bottom of the second overtime. Lytle will elect to take the spider web position. Why to do that? He was not able to control Shields the first time around when he had his back. So
he's going to try something new. He figures couldn't be any worse.
He's showing some savvy here, taking a lap, catching his breath a little bit.
That's what, when you're a salty dog, you know these things. You get up, you walk away. You pretend you don't hear the ref. Gives you a couple seconds. Now he didn't grab the leg. I would have recommended that, but it's just not Chris's bread and butter, I guess.
If Lytle pulls off a submission here, he'll be the winner. Jake Shields has to be very, very careful. He's trying to get that arm free. He needs to pass that elbow through, correct?
Ooh. He's got it. He's got it tight. Chris is really giving this his all.
Ooh, that is definitely straight. Shields needs to be careful. Cannot slam his way out of this. Oh! Lytle with a look of just, how did I let that happen? The match was nearly his. Man, this is a classic.
I love this game. Can we just keep going? I just want to see these guys keep going. Chris might argue with me, but I'm having fun.
Jake Shields wants the back. The corner was telling him to go spider web, and now Shields listens to his corner. This is his final overtime period, so we'll see what he can do with the arm. See if he elects to take that leg. Lytle did not.
It looks like he is. Yep.
Oh!
See if he rolls through.
We were in this position earlier. Lytle didn't tap then.
And he escapes quickly.
Wow! Chris Lytle.
Nice.
I'm starting to think Chris Lytle's double jointed, man.
You know, as we were talking earlier, that's what he is so flexible, people just can't believe it. As you look at him, you'd expect he's like me, old and brittle. No, he's ridiculously flexible.
All right, this is the final chance for Chris Lytle to wrap up this victory. A submission here would deem him
Lytle's opting for that armbar again, that spider because he came so close to catching him in the first match.
Shields.
In the first go.
And it's done. Jake Shields will win on time.
But Chris Lytle won our hearts.
Chris Lytle won my heart about 10 years ago. He cemented that spot.
He won my heart in a new sport.
Wow.
And
clap your hands.
This is worth a standing ovation.
That was fantastic.
Oh, man. I'm going to stand up for this man.
Hey, Corey on his feet. I will join him. Really solid stuff. The fight of the night thus far, Jake Shields.
This is a huge fan of Jake Shields as well. This is
Chris
incredible.
Lytle putting on a show. We will make it official. Here's Kevin Keeney.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these two warriors a big round of applause. Went the entire time limit. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner due to escaping in the least amount of time, out of the blue corner, Jake Shields.
Jake Shields, he will get a submission underground belt for his trouble. We just saw a fight of the night without a single strike thrown.
This is awesome. Yeah, man.
If you were on the fence about what you were going to see here tonight, I think this makes you throw down for that Flow Combat subscription in perpetuity. As long as there's a submission underground on the way, you definitely need to be here. Let's throw it up to Chael Sonnen, who will speak with the winner, Jake Shields.
Jake, that was amazing. You did everything that you do, everything that submits all of your other opponents when you get to your positions. What made him different?
Man, he just wasn't giving me anything. I was getting in on some of the submissions, but his neck wasn't there. His arm position was perfect. Even the hill, man, I thought I had the thing deep, and he managed to get out of that. It's, like I said, I think a lot of guys underestimate Chris, just how good he is at grappling.
Now, when you had his arm, it looked like he should tap. I was sitting ringside. I could see the whole thing. We all thought the fight was over, and he got out of it. Did that surprise you?
yeah, I thought I had it, but then he was able to turn his elbow just a little bit, and you get that little bit of space, and you can get out.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Jake Shields.
So good, Jake Shields and Chris Lytle. They have set a high bar for what a submission underground classic should look like. Chris Lytle going to get on the mic with Chael Sonnen.
It did look like in that second overtime position that you had his arm pretty tight. Was there some opportunity there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I felt really good. I was like, oh, I can tell by the way he's moving. He don't like this. Like I said, not real smart. Knew he didn't like it. So I just tried to go real hard, pull, give it all I got. But he's slick, man. He got out of it. So good job, Jake. It was a great match.
Now, Chris, you took this match a week ago. How did your conditioning hold up? And I ask you that as a fellow athlete. How did you get in shape so quickly?
Can't you tell I'm not? Every time the break was going on, I looked over and said, oh, my arms are tired. So, you know, I try and stay in good shape all the time, but to go against an animal like this, you need a full camp. And to be honest with you, about 2 months ago, got in a motorcycle wreck. I got in hit and run, so I wasn't moving too well. So I just knew coming in here, you get a few opportunities to go against a guy of Jake's level. I've got to take advantage of it. He offered me it. I appreciate it. And anytime you give me a match like that, I'm going to take it.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Lytle.
Chris Lytle, one of the better personalities in mixed martial arts, submission grappling. See some action here. Said he was in a hit and run accident on a motorcycle. I wonder if that was the motorcycle he won when he fought Dan Hardy.
Look at that roll through. As Jake's attacking those ankles, and they just rolled from one side of the cage to the other. Man.
I mean, Chris Lytle is a true, well-rounded martial artist, and to go the distance with Jake Shields really cements that. I hope we see Chris Lytle back here in Submission Underground. I wouldn't mind a rematch at some point.
And look at that armbar attack. He was so close on that. Just beautiful. If you weren't a fan of this sport or either of these competitors, you should be now, or you should go get your brain checked.